Yay, we're live
Yay!
again! Woohoo! Woohoo! Welcome everybody! Welcome ladies and welcome everybody on YouTube. We're always very delighted to share these talks and we always have like really amazing talks with each other, and we felt like we need to share these talks because that can really help people and really inspire people. So that's why we started this. And first, we're gonna introduce each other. So I'm gonna tell a bit about myself. I'm Janneke Hellebrekers. I call myself Miss Hellbreaker with my website and everything. And I give yoga, meditation, coaching. I give energetic ankh healings and also healing courses. I do a lot of talks and interviews, like wherever I can spread seeds of consciousness and growing awareness. I do it, and I love sharing. So I love these talks as well. So happy to be here, and happy to be here with all of these lovely ladies. So now you can also, each of you can introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Karina. I live in Amsterdam with my partner and 3 children. I am a coach, also frequency healer. So I help people step into their inner power and release everything and anything that is keeping them back from stepping into their birthright of being a full expression that they came here to be, fully step into their purpose. And I also help people set up business from community. So women supporting women, working together, co-creating together and rising together. So that's who I am.
Hi, I am Liezl. I'm from South Africa originally, and now I live in the Netherlands also. And I started an online business about a year and a half ago, and since then that has been like a real journey of self-development, self-improvement, getting to know myself, and finally finding the sisterhood and being embraced and healing my sister wounds together. And so my passion online is just to show women that you can create your dreams and make your dreams come true. And you have to do this by creating an online income, create something that's your own, that you can create more freedom with, more time and more space for yourself to expand and be expansive in, and have spaciousness and all these wonderful words. So that's what I do.
Hey, beautifuls. You already know the vibe, and I already share this in different ways. We be doing the energy work. We be up here on Earth, like all of us, one way or another. I'm working mostly with light codes and light language, working on the grids of the Earth and working multidimensionally with past and future and all of that at the same time. And I'm super inspired and excited now because I'm starting to weave and co-create and channel light codes and like whole templates and light grids that are connected with someone's soul or their mission or some creation or a project that they are working on. And I can like tap into the energies and channel that into like a code that then anchors the energy and helps everything. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, also guiding people, helping people, being a mirror for where you are. And maybe if you'd like to be somewhere else, to be a mirror for that reflection of how to get there. So it's hilarious. I always describe what I do in different ways. But if you're here, you already know. Welcome.
Thank you all. Thank you all for introducing yourself. So whoever's watching, you're very welcome also to ask us any questions. We will be checking on the chat, so we'll be answering those. And so just know that you are welcome to ask anything. And today we're going to be talking about embracing different perspectives. So that's a very interesting subject, and Madalena so will start talking about that. And enjoy this beautiful time.
Okay, you guys. So, what does it mean to embrace different perspectives? What does it mean for, like, for me personally, to embrace different perspectives in the world as it is right now, which is just getting like crazier and more adventurous and epic than ever? So, how do I embrace those perspectives that I'm perceiving? And what are those perspectives that I am embracing? Like, you already know, if you're here, that this is one of my favorite conversations to have. So I'm super excited to open the space, and I'm super curious to see what each one of you share about this. So whoever feels called, you can pick up the stick.
When you
I will
are,
take it up if nobody
oh,
wants. But now you want to. You want to talk, Janneke. I thought, well, if nobody wants to go first, I will go first because I want to start with something that has been in the Dutch media for a while. For obvious reasons, I am not in mainstream media myself, but I do get the information here and there. And there's this one person. I don't know exactly what he is. He's like a famous Dutch person. I don't know what he does, but he apparently said something about 9/11, and he said something about the moon landing being fake. So he was apparently speaking. He had like a speaking gig at a place, I don't even know where, but I think it was a school or something. And they said, like a university, I think, yeah. And they said he could not come to speak because he had these beliefs. He held these beliefs. And now a whole of Twitter is apparently like exploding with hate bombs towards this person. And people, I was just reading this on Telegram before we went live, that another presenter in the Netherlands had said, like, oh, well, this person has children also. And I think it's a really, I'm really worried about his children because it's very like toxic and very bad for children to have a father that has these beliefs. So now the whole of the Netherlands is like exploding around this topic. And I know this is probably, it's predictive programming, because it's showing us in a way like, watch out what is happening here, because they're going to take your freedom of speech, which is one of the basic rights in most Western countries, at least. That is what we thought, of course, until a few years back. So this is telling people like, watch what is happening. And it's also bringing up the duality again. It's bringing up the duality of people saying like, oh no, this person is a bad parent. I think there were 35% of people interviewed, and I don't know, of course, who was interviewed and who was speaking, but of the people apparently interviewed, 35% thought that this was a bad parent. And the other 65% was saying like, okay, this person can have his own beliefs. So now all of Facebook and all of Twitter is like falling over this and saying like, no, this person can have his own opinion and the state of the country and blah, blah, blah. And the other half is like, oh, look at these dangerous beliefs and see these conspiracy theorists. And it's really bad to be a conspiracy theorist. So this is also predictive programming. This is also bringing to the surface that we truly do not have freedom of speech. But the way I see it, this is all a game of awakening. And we're in this arena and we're being showed what the status quo is. And it's for us and for the collective to come up and see what we feel, what is happening here, and to feel within ourselves, like, where have we not been heard, and where have we been ridiculed perhaps for our beliefs, and where is the duality and all of this. And there's another thing that I notice in common. And I don't want to speak in terms like awakened people or not awakened people, because let me tell you, there's a whole range of being awake. And the way I see it, we are all awakening. And I don't know who it was, Socrates or somebody like that. Somebody once said that the more you know, the less you know. And I think that's true, because there's so many things we don't know. I don't believe that the moon landing is real. And I believe in the 9/11 stories. But the exact story, we do not know. We can do our own research. For 9/11, me personally, I've been investigating that for 20 years, but still I do not know all the details, because there's sometimes also the stories behind the stories. There's predictive programming, there's things they want us to believe, and the real story is hidden. It might be like you have double spies. It can be a double thing. We really don't know what happened. And people that are telling you they know something for certain, you should be really careful for people telling you that, because of all the things playing out in the world, there's so much that will bring even the most awake and aware people in a state of frenzy when things finally come out, that they say it will be even 6 months for the most awake of people to, to get their bearings again, and be able to cope with everything that's going around. And that's the truth. So, but what I notice in awake people in general, now I'm generalizing, well, there's many degrees of being awake, but in general, the more awake people are, the less they judge. And I'm not talking about the shiny, happy, unicorn, love and light people. I'm not talking about those, because and that's also a judgment from my side, but I notice that there's a lot of judgment in general in that field, because most people that are only speaking and only wanting to see love and light, they are not willing to look at the shadow side in themselves, in others, in society, and they'd rather keep their frequency high, and they rather like play everything love and light, because then it's easier. So they might want to push away truths, because that is what is happening if people are not allowing other people their expression and their beliefs. Something happens in you that goes like, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to think about these subjects. So I'm pushing it away. And the more awake people are, the less that happens, is what I notice. So sometimes walking around in normal 3-day society, being used to a lot of people that are open and that are accepting of a lot of different worldviews. I mean, I don't mind if you think that the world is flat or whether you think it's round. I don't mind. I find it interesting to have many different perspectives. It might be round and flat at the same time because it's a holographic Earth. So it can be many different ways. And if you have a different belief than I'm just like, oh, this person is here or there. I might judge you even for, oh, okay, you're there. I might judge that and put you in a little box. Not that I want to do that, but I have my own programming. I'm still a human, right? But I won't judge you for what you think. And I would rather be interested, like, why do you think that is true? And what sources of information do you have? And how did you come to believe this? And this is in my field with more or less awake people, normal. But then you have this other field where people are offended by a simple belief somebody has. And that really fascinates me, because why would you even be offended for somebody thinking something that has nothing to do with you? Nothing at all. I mean, I get it when you get offended when somebody thinks something of you, but when they think something of the earth being flat, or 9/11 having occurred the way that is promoted by the mainstream media, why would I care what you think? And even in the awakening scene, with people thinking they know the full truth of things, the judgment is there, of course, like, oh, you're thinking this, so you're still there. You're not fully awake. Whereas they really don't know what is the truth behind things they might have investigated, but they don't know. So to me, it's really funny to notice that when I'm in different fields and just going around and just talking about things, that I'm suddenly like being rejected, or especially this resistance that you might receive of people that are not wanting you to have a certain belief. It's very funny, I think, and I'm really curious what you think about that.
Well, I can tell you what I think about all this. We are sent to school, right, from a young age to be taught by strangers for how many hours a day? What school day? 6 hours, 8 hours a day for 12 years to not have a different perspective. You're taught by one person to have the same perspective for 12 years. And that's my opinion. Like, the brainwashing is so strong. It's like, you're not allowed to have a different perspective. You're not allowed to think differently. You're not allowed to do differently. If you do differently, you are the odd one out. And that is how we're all like programmed or trained to have this one perspective. And then when anybody else comes with a different perspective, it's very hard for somebody to look at or to perceive that as even as an option, because in all those years, you've never even heard that possibility. So to come across information that is so wildly opposite to what you've been taught for 12 years is really difficult for some people. But then there are some people, like I think all of us are, like, that are these rebellious spirits that never really conformed to the 12 years of training, never really decided that we will fit in that mold. And we have always had that other perspective and entertained those other perspectives and entertained those other ideas of like, yeah, maybe it's possible. Whereas there are some people that are so black and white that is like, this is the way it is. This is how I was taught. This is how my children are taught by strangers that I don't even know. And that's how it will continue for generations, you know? And that is one of the big perspective changes, because in my field, like for instance, about homeschooling, right? People are like, but how can you homeschool your kids? Where do they socialize? Where do they get to see other people? And that kind of stuff, you know? It's like, we homeschool, we don't live in a cave, okay? Like, we still see other people, we still interact. But my children don't have to put up their hand in front of a class of 20 people and ask, may I go to the bathroom, please, you know? Or wait for a certain time, an hour, to finally be able to allow to have a snack, you know? These kind of things. And we accept that as normal, that you have to ask permission to go to the toilet, that you have to wait for a certain time to be allowed to have a snack or a drink of water. But we don't see it as normal that it's okay that a parent can teach their own child in their own capacity and be really good at it, you know? So that's a perspective thing that I really feel, and that I'm quite passionate about, is that this whole school system was really only created to make people not see any other perspectives, to make people make sure that no one goes outside the group, that nobody steps outside and be the black sheep, you know, that everybody conforms and just gets trained basically for those 12 years to just be a good citizen. That's my 2 cents.
Cognitive dissonance is the word for that. What we're learned, and that we're not wanting to go out of the field of the masses.
But now more and more people are waking up, and more people seeing different realities and different perspectives of everything. And that's why we're very, very exciting times. And I love researching and love finding things out that I didn't know was possible or didn't know existed. And I love that. And also finding it from within and exploring this reality, but also exploring myself and seeing things differently, and more people sharing those things as well. But on the other side, like, there's so many different perspectives of everything. And also what Karina was saying, the more you're like open-minded, the more everybody can has their own perspectives. and you can just live next to someone else, and he can have totally different view of reality and life perspective. And it's so interesting because like everybody is a total universe on itself with total beliefs, different beliefs, different perspectives, different way of seeing things. And that's why it's so interesting, this reality also. Everybody can live on a different frequency, parallel universe, and we're still living next to each other. And that is really interesting. And we're seeing it more and more, and things coming out. So, and that's really funny indeed also, that's what Karina said about it's like a famous comedian in Holland, and he just has different beliefs about something, and then they don't want him to talk at a school, and it was like, exactly, in a school you would think they want to learn more. So that is also crazy, and that is going on. But more and more, like I see, like also I don't have I don't know what is real. A lot of things like you research, and this can be real and this can be real. But now on Twitter and on TikTok, flat Earth is is trending, and I just find it funny because yeah, it's like it can be right, it can be flat, whatever. It's like I think it's interesting, and also I saw videos of people wanting to debunk flat Earth, and then they became a flat earther. It's like hilarious videos, like short videos behind each other. So there's so much going on and so many different perspectives, and it's like really interesting. It's really interesting, and yeah. So I'm like very excited about what I find this day again. What kind of strange things.
But can I just pop in and say one thing? Like, so there's this whole thing about be open-minded and everybody be allowed to have different perspectives and don't have judgment. But I feel there has to be a certain level of judgment, because when there's like this all be open-minded and be open perspective, but when it comes to like putting your perspective onto me or onto my children, you have to be allowed to judge that and to say your truth about it. Like, not this whole political correct situation of like, you are not allowed to speak up against something that you feel in your inner being is so wrong, but you're not allowed to speak up against it because of being politically correct. So like, I do feel there is a place for judgment in all this open-mindedness. Like, we have to speak out. Like, you have to protect your children, like against all this like BS with the gender crap and stuff, you know. Like, I feel by me speaking my truth about these things, it allows other people to find the courage to also say like, this doesn't sit right with me. This is not right to teach my child all this nonsense, you know. So I do feel judgment is required, and political correctness needs to take a backseat, because that has actually just created a society where we are all taught to lie. We are all taught to tell lies, from a parent telling a lie to his children, from government to telling lies to their citizens, just lies, lies, lies. And that creates totalitarianism. Okay, sorry.
I would rather go with the word discernment here. Discernment instead of judgment. Like, judgment is for me really projecting your beliefs or your refusal to believe their ideas onto them. Where discernment is being very clear on making your own beliefs count, and then you voice them by speaking your truth.
Okay, I'm picking up the stick. So we're all living in the same earth, we guess, right? And at the same time, we're all living in our own versions of earth. We're all in the same place, and we all experience our reality in different ways. And as we perceive, we experience, and as we experience, we perceive. There's also something else about different perspectives. So we can receive perspectives from the outside and see the different perspectives that are playing out in the world, the different polarities and poles and the energies going back and forth, like the examples that you were all sharing, where there is There are people who believe this thing and people who believe the other thing, and then there are people who believe a third and a fourth and a fifth thing about it. And I'm just putting it out there, just kind of as a question. Maybe all those people experience reality slightly or very differently, because if you believe one thing or if you believe another, maybe, I'm just saying maybe, those people maybe would experience reality very, very differently. And so again, we are all in the same earth, and it seems like this place is a playground where almost everything can exist. So there can be all, like, so many people in so many different parts of the world experiencing life in different ways, completely different ways. And we can, like, talk about, like, cultures and stuff like that, like, even, like, prior to some other stuff, just basic cultures and basic costumes and traditions and stuff like that. It's so funny how we're all in the same place, but none of us is in the same place because our perception of where we are is different. And so the way we live our lives and the way we think and what we do changes with influences, with is always being influenced by what we are perceiving, and vice versa. So again, this is why I say this is, like, my favorite topic to talk about. And as I'm just listening to each one of you share, I'm just here and just observing, and, like, literally I was like, oh, I'm literally doing the topic of the call. I'm literally embracing the perspectives. And there are, like, for example, also what Liesl, what you were sharing, like, that maybe, again, I'm just saying maybe, there are some moments where it resonates for me, for my soul, for my highest self, whatever you want to call it, just for me to just observe and just let everything be and not take anything in. So I'm just observing. And some other times I feel called to actually wait, no, no, this, no, okay, not on my watch, not on my watch. So it's funny because um ultimately knowing that we're all here learning, like, all of us, all the people, all the different experiences, the contrast is there for us to learn, right? So I love the contrasts, and sometimes it's not nice at all, because that means that there's literally a lot of contrast. Sometimes that means that we can be on earth where the most beautiful things are happening, sustainability, love, community, abundance, connection with the earth, and all of that. And at the same time, on the same earth, there's, like, so much shit happening, like, and here we are in the midst of all of that, living our our um our private lives, like our individual lives, and then our collective lives. And then if our perspectives resonate, then we will, like, find each other, like, right, like, we meet people who think the same way. And then if we're in a group of people or we hear something that it's like, what the then we kind of step a little bit further from that. And um and again, like, we talk about all of us being one, that we are all one. And then when we're having these conversations, I feel it's funny and interesting to also honor and remember that. And that without the contrasts, without the bad, the good would not be good. It would just be normal. So, like, for one to be, the other must be. If there wasn't all this happening on earth, there wouldn't be the need for light workers or beautiful people to do beautiful things, right? There wouldn't be a need for it. So ultimately I'm observing that this is a the craziest experience ever, and who knows what comes after it, like who knows. But yeah, like this is a playground of contrasts, and also like where I'm vibrating, like whatever I'm like believing or perceiving my reality, I kind of receive more confirmation of that, you know. So if today I'm not feeling so good and inspired, it feels like I gather more things in my reality that like prove to me that I'm not feeling so good, you know. And if I'm actually like feeling good, then these, like all these blessings and these opportunities and miracles start happening in my life. And so it's this constant like awareness and experience of like, where am I right now? Like sometimes I don't need to believe anything. I can just be in a moment or live without the need to hold a certain perspective. I can just be in the not knowing, in the present moment. And some other times it's really nice that I know, or that I think I know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, so this is us, right? So this is us living through the contrasts, knowing that without the contrasts, there wouldn't be all of this um, abundance of perspectives and ways and colors and things and details and all of that. And again, when ultimately we're all one, but we're all experiencing Earth and our lives in reality in different ways. So you can be like, okay, Mehdi, great. So everyone thinks what they think, great. So, but what do we do now? How do we come together and do something good with that? Because if everyone is just in their own home, just, oh, this is what I believe, this is what you believe, but then we don't do anything about it, then what happens? And so, yeah, more and more we find each other, more and more like our frequencies uh bring us closer together, and then we learn, and then sometimes it's time for us to separate again and go to different places. So what do we know, and do we really know what we think we know? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm here on Earth, just as clear and just as confused as everyone else. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm completely sure, like I can feel it. I know that this is the truth. And some other times I'm like, dude, what the fuck is actually going on? Like, oh my god. so so yeah, like again, from a perspective of honoring the contrasts, um there is this perspective of, the more we gather and organize and come together in to do one thing, the more powerful that becomes, right? So if there is a group of people trying to manipulate others and like indoctrinate and all that stuff, those people need to come together to make that happen. And the same way, for us to create something beautiful and to liberate more people and to live in more abundance and more connection with earth and like all of that, guess what? We need to come together, right? So there comes a point where there's like a need or an experience of really honoring the contrast of the perspectives. And in some other moments is like, okay, Janneke, you believe this, and Karina believes that, and Liezl believes that, and I believe that. But we all want everyone to be happy and free and like loving to each other and live in community and blah blah blah. So there are tiny perspectives that we all have, that it's like, it doesn't matter if Janneke believes that and I believe something different. We have another belief that it's like greater than that, that makes us come together and join hands, right? So so yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to put out there, that sometimes we're just observing, sometimes it's really nice and important for us to take a stand on, there is this choice or this choice, and this is definitely what I'm choosing and who's coming with me. And then it's like, yeah, we're all choosing that, we're all choosing love, we all choosing new earth, we all choosing freedom. And so if you eat this diet and you think the earth is flat and I think it's around like like who cares? Let's just, okay, it's like, yeah, can we let that go? Like, we don't know, but can we still come together and create something beautiful? So that's my rant about it. Thank you.
It's very interesting what we are like. It was like, who knows? We're just one big, giant genetic experience, and we are just in a giant petri dish. Who knows? You know? Or we are like on the like the center of the universe, and we're all gods, or like who and like it's like who knows? Who knows? It's like interesting. It's like yeah, the vastness of it all.
Mm, mm. And so, how can we honor that there are people that are very, very different from us? How can we honor that that exists and that is there? And it's like, okay, if you come into my field and you try to indoctrinate my children or like do that to me, maybe I will take a stance. But if you're there, well, I will try to help in some other ways, but that's all I can do. But when we are in these spaces, like with all of us together, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you think the earth is flat and I think the earth is round, or the earth is a square, or it's like a wormhole, like, or whatever. It's like, but how do we want to live our lives here? Like, okay, you believe the sky is red, I believe the sky is blue. Great, but can we still live in peace? Yeah.
I would like to give my shot at that. Like you said already, Maddie, that our truths are a frequency, and we attract the people with the right frequency. So as long as we keep on speaking our truth, and the right people will come to us, and those are the people we are meant to create this new earth with. Those are our soul family, and we are all the same, but we're different expressions of the one. And we are meant to be different because we each have these beautiful capacities, and we all have these beautiful experiences, life experience, past life experiences that made us who we are now in this time on the earth. And we came here to bring that exact mission to fruition. And for that, we need to send out this frequency of who we are and what we stand for into the world. And all those that cannot hear you, they're not meant to hear you. And you can just let them be. And the ones that are meant to hear you will come to you. And you will create the beautiful things that you are here to create with those people. And that's the only thing. So just let's keep on speaking our truths in all full expressions, that they come to us naturally.
Thank you. I love that, to kind of wrap it up. That was beautiful. Yeah. So wherever we are vibrating, we meet more people in that vibration. So we can just be us, be as weird as we can, believe whatever you want, and you will find the other crazy ones. And then we can have so much more fun and have these crazy conversations and live our lives and just enjoy it. Yeah, I love it.
But also be as like speaking up and be like having boundaries, and also making a stand, like the light warriors that we also are. It's like to like we free our people. We free our people because like we've been in dominance for like aeons of times, and we're freeing ourselves. We're freeing humanity, and we're calling also out what is happening, what is really happening behind the scenes, and that is really, really, really awful. And we're also calling that out, and we're also saying like we want to make a difference, and that's what you said. We want to make a different world. where everybody prospers, where everybody is peaceful, and where like everybody profits, not just the couple of people. And that is what we really are here to do as well. So that's why we're like we're not only love and light, we're also like the truth and speaking up and boundaries. So we're like yeah, real warriors as well.
Yeah, because we're not supposed to be all the same, and we're not supposed to have to be forced to live next to someone who is totally not what you are, like that's why we have communities of like-minded people, and why we are also attracted to that, because we naturally want to be in a space that with people that are like you. And that's why like these man-made borders and states and things have created all this chaos in the world, because people are forced together in areas where they were not originally wanting to be together, and it's nothing because that person is wrong, or that person is that color, or whatever, or you came first and I came last, or whatever. It's none of that. It's just the fact that you should be allowed to be where you want to be. You should have the freedom to choose where you want to be, how you want to be, and who you want to speak to, so those healthy boundaries, that's like, I'm not going to give up what I believe so that I can make my neighbor happy, that's my healthy boundary. My healthy boundary is I'm going to keep myself happy in my space. And hopefully then if my neighbor is not someone I like, maybe I can move or something like that,
I'm loving this. This brought me back to like the concept of non-duality, which is something that I speak of sometimes, which can be so freaking dangerous, right? Like there is this awareness that there is contrast, there is light, there is darkness, and that's like the non-duality, knowing that it's the yin and the yang, like it's all there for a reason. But then what do I choose? Because I'm in a body, so I'm in here, I'm in the game. So sometimes like, oh, non-duality, not judge, not anything, then sometimes that means perpetuating and accepting whatever it is. And if it's really bad, then I'm just, oh, non-duality, I'm just super spiritual and like not gonna judge anything, and just people like do whatever, and I'm just here accepting it, so so yeah, like for me the non-duality perspective is knowing that there is a yin and a yang and a contrast, but then knowing that I am a human, and what do I choose, and what is okay and what it's not, and what literally is not going to happen on my watch, so imagine something terrible, like horrible, someone hurting someone else in front of me, and I'm like, oh, that's just life on earth, like it's and there might be moments where we actually feel that the highest thing for us to do is to just observe and not interfere. That can also happen, but like these are the conversations that I feel are very important to have, the duality, the non-duality, and all these conversations. So yeah, thank you so much. This was so yummy. Does anyone want to share anything else? I'm all for it.
It's just thank you everybody also for watching. Thank you everybody being here, and I really love like to see and hear all of our perspectives. So I already love hearing what we all have to say. So thank you for sharing, and yeah, and thank you for everybody who's listening and seeing this. Thank you too, and good luck on your journey. So.
Yes, thank you so much, sisters. This was so like nurturing and yummy for me personally. And also thank you everyone else for being on this journey here with us. If you stayed for the whole time, then you know what's up in your family for sure. So bless you and bless us all. Thank you.
See you next week.
Yes, see you
Bye.
next
See
week.
you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.